Hello, welcome to Third and Long. Today we're here with Zach Biller and Grant Murphy and me, the host, Zane Fry, and we're going to be going over Week 1 and our predictions for Week 2. Do you guys have any big games you'd like to start with from last week?
Preferably Chiefs-Ravens, the first game, and probably the best one of the weekend.
That was a good game. The catch is crazy. He's got to get his toes in there, you know?
Nah, he was in.
Lamar
he was not
terrible.
in. Wait, actually?
He was not in.
Oh, when you put your foot down, your toes don't touch the ground.
All right.
He was in.
Nah, you're
Crazy
terrible.
take.
No, I think Lamar was honestly awful that game.
He ran really well.
How-
That's what his great thing
Okay.
is.
How are you going to say a person is awful when they have 400 total yards? They have their team's entire offense.
Okay, but when the lights were bright.
270 yards passing, 120 yards rushing on good efficiency.
This is why Kenny Pickett was a great quarterback, because the rest game doesn't matter. Only the game-winning drive matters. And he was the best at
if
that.
you don't win the
He
game.
threw a dime on the sideline to Nelson Aguilar. He threw a dime to
He threw behind
Isaiah
Zay
Likely in the back of
Flowers.
the end zone. He missed one throw, which honestly was a miscommunication. It's on both.
He does
of
have
them.
to sit there.
It is.
That is basic
Zay Flowers
football
does have
knowledge.
to stop running. Basic football knowledge. When you're open in zone, you stop running. It's not. I don't think that's. Lamar had a good drive. He did a good final drive. He had a good game.
I was saying this before the game and all off season. I think Derrick Henry's old, man.
Yeah.
And I felt like that game showed it pretty well.
I mean, I think Harbaugh in an interview said that he brought Derrick Henry not to be a workhorse, but to be a part of the offense. So I think you shouldn't expect anything more than the 10 or so carries he got. And I mean, he's never going to get the receiving work. He's never been a good receiver.
0 receptions is crazy. They actually brought in Justice Hill just for receiving plays. He had like 7 catches.
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't like Derrick Henry. Like even when he was running, didn't look that great. Honestly,
Dude, last year I thought he looked old, and he gets slower throughout the season. Like, because his body just gets beat up. That's not his fault, but it happens.
This year shouldn't as much.
True.
Like,
He'll
he
get
was the whole
touchdowns,
Titans
but I don't
offense.
think he's going to be. They were talking about Derrick Henry being the biggest offseason like signing out of all the teams, and I just don't think so.
no.
DJ Reader.
Any key players from the game you guys want to highlight?
From
I'm trying to think.
Rushy Rice.
He was pretty decent. Xavier Worthy played really good for his first game. He looked talented,
Yeah,
I mean,
he only had
he's
3 catches,
talented.
but he looked really fast.
and he had a rush. He had a rushing touchdown for over 20.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like he'll thrive in that system.
Yeah, I just think it's hard to say that he's going to repeat that success because you don't take 2 touches for 2 long touchdowns on a normal day. But I mean, he looked fast, and that's kind of all you need from him.
Also, Hollywood's coming back. I think soonish. I
Is
don't
his
know if he's coming
actual
back
real
next
name
week.
Hollywood now?
I think he changed it.
That's what
Changed it
fantasy
from
says.
Marquee.
I
he changed it
I
from
think he
Marquee
actually
to
changed it,
Hollywood.
which is kind of crazy.
But
They do it all the time.
I was thinking that the Chiefs got worse this
Meta
year
world
because they
peace.
lost L'Jarius Sneed, and I felt like he was a really big piece of this team. But I didn't realize how much better their offense got. They actually acquired receivers that can play football.
Yeah, because last year it was their defense that kind of carried them throughout the playoffs and just in general, which is kind of interesting because you have like the best quarterback in the league, but you're winning games because of your defense. But I think this year they kind of doubled down on the offense, which is what they should do, and then let a piece or 2 go on defense. But I mean, they still looked solid. I mean, it's not like they let Lamar drop 50 on them.
All the power rankings are saying they're 1. I think it should be the Niners, but I do think they're 2.
It is the Niners. Don't say the Lions. You're not funny.
Niners fan,
It's
Lions
not,
fan,
it's not funny,
Steelers
though.
fan.
Like,
Okay.
honestly, like, look at that Rams game, bro. The Lions look good.
The Rams,
You went to overtime with the Rams.
The Rams are good.
The Rams
They're
were beat
decent.
up without one of their receivers.
We're beat up, too. Oh, we had, like, one guy missing. But,
Yeah.
like,
No, actually, I thought the Lions looked really shaky. They should have lost that game. 'Cause
Okay.
then why we win?
Let's move into the Green Bay Eagles game.
Yeah.
Dude, that Jordan Love injury was scary. I think he's lucky to get away with 3-6 weeks.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I didn't really
Yeah.
watch the game. I was at football.
I was at Korean barbecue watching it. I think, honestly, like Jalen Hurts did not play that great. Like he figured it out, but the first 2 drives he had a pick and then a fumble, and it was just terrible. It's honestly terrible.
Is Saquon the best signing of the offseason?
Dude,
No.
I think I think like he's not gonna perform like that every week, but I think he's pretty solid.
He's so good at football, and being on the Giants,
Yeah,
we watched the Giants play this week, and they're horrible at football. Those guys
just
suck,
so good.
bro.
It is so bad.
And them versus the Panthers in Germany is like that game was picked for a reason in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, send that one overseas.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, the Giants are actually worse than I thought they were going to be this year.
Yeah.
I kind of had hope for Danny Dimes, but
He's the worst contract in football. Him and
God, he's
Deshaun. It's
terrible.
horrible.
Yeah.
I saw this clip from like 2 years ago saying how people like someone was saying how they would rather have Danny Dimes than like Joe Burrow or something.
Because 2 years ago he went to the playoffs. He won a playoff game.
Yeah.
Their team had better offensive yards they had the last couple years.
They won that. They won those playoff games. Those games on the defense. They had a really good defense. They had a good run game. Daniel Jones was just kind of a guy in there. He was just some average dude throwing passes to in a good system. And I mean, the system goes away. The dude's terrible.
I think he gets sat next week, honestly.
I mean, he has more pick six than touchdowns since he signed that contract.
Which is crazy. 3 pick sixes to 2 touchdowns is insane.
He has 2 touchdowns.
since he signed a $160 million deal, he's thrown for 2 touchdowns.
Horrible. And I thought the Giants' defense was going to look better because they signed Brian Burns in the offseason and they like sorted up some spots, but it did not look great, man.
Yeah, no.
I think like defense is I don't play football, but I feel like defense is a lot of like energy, and when like your team sucks that bad and you can't get anything going on offense, I think it's hard to play defense.
Sports are momentum based.
I disagree that they're momentum based, but it is. I mean, if the offense isn't on the field and you just constantly are letting the defense have to get drives on them, of course they're going to get scored on. So I think it's less of a momentum and more of just a, if you're on the field for double the time, you're bound to give up more points.
Yeah, for sure. That's true. But you also got to remember they made Sam Darnold look like he was good at football.
I watched him play at the Niners last year. The dude is no good.
He's not any good.
He's trash.
He had like a flash
MVP
with the Jets,
season?
but I don't know. I think he's going to face a real opponent, and he's going to look so much worse.
Hey, he plays the Niners next week.
He's getting
killed.
He is getting killed.
He just has to throw it up to Justin Jefferson, though.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Except the Niners have one of the best corners in the league, so Charvarius Ward.
JPJ.
Did you see Aaron Rodgers' shot chart last week? He completed.
Yeah, I did see that.
He completed no passes to the
right
defensive
side.
left side of the field.
Or left side, yeah.
And no pass to the defensive left side of the field, and only outside the hashes, and only a few inside the hashes towards the defensive left.
The only one inside the hashes was the penalty play where he had a free touchdown.
But the thing is our cornerback, Charvarius Ward, lined up on the defensive left 50 out of 51 snaps. So that just shows he was shutting down that side of the field. Or Aaron Rodgers can only throw one way.
Let's move into that game. What do we think of? Because I thought the Jets were going to be pretty good this year, but the Niners made them look bad.
I mean, okay, you got to take it with a grain of salt. They did play the best team in the league. Yeah. So I think, like...
I hate you saying that, but you're right.
Yeah.
Basically, they could move the ball this year much better than last year. Their defense still looked like all right. I mean, they gave Purdy a little bit of a challenge. I mean, we couldn't score touchdowns, but we could drive the ball. And so I think, like, in general, like, you got to just take it with a grain of salt. They played one of the best teams, got kind of dominated, but at the same time, they did show potential on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball, which they didn't have last year.
I just feel like Aaron Rodgers and Kirko, like, they're just gonna have like very similar seasons. Like, they both cannot move in the pocket.
The way Aaron Rodgers was throwing looked really nice. Like, I could tell that like things are gonna work out decent for that team.
Yeah.
That pick he threw, I mean, it was great coverage and it was great play, but like I don't think that's like a ball that gets picked that often.
Yeah.
It was just hard for them to score, and their defense is so locked down.
Right. Yeah. Weather games.
I mean, my Steelers won. I've always said touchdowns overrated. You don't need those.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is, as a Niners fan, I disagree. It was painful watching them. Like
you kicked as many field goals as we did.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It was painful, both games. Painful. Like, you gotta score touchdowns. I mean, how can you have 6? Actually, but you guys just didn't really. You had like.
I saw the same shot chart, but for Justin Fields, and it looked almost exactly like Aaron Rodgers. We were scared to use him as an actual QB because, again, he wasn't supposed to play QB. He was subbed in Friday. Like, they dumbed down the scheme to make it simpler, and they were scared to let him like actually play football.
But was his shot chart? It wasn't right. It wasn't just all.
It was just sidelines only.
Just
sidelines, no middle, just 5 8-yard passes, and then he had 2 fade balls.
Yeah, I mean, but I also saw some of like the classic Justin Fields Bears stuff, which is like, take 10 seconds to get rid of the ball, get sacked, run around a bunch, be like, I have no time. When in reality, you just can't make a read. Like,
I
that's on
think-
you.
He also had no offense though when he was on the Bears.
I
Yeah,
think he
but-
has like PTSD from being in that Bears pocket.
But
I think that scars him in
no,
for
but
life.
in the Bears, he had the longest time to throw in the NFL by a lot. That is not just
But
the
is
Bears
that-
pocket.
Is
That
that?
is just
But is that because of the pocket or just because he scrambles? Like,
that's because he runs around like
Yeah.
like an idiot, which is like you gotta, as a quarterback, make your reads, deliver the ball on time. You can't just scramble a lot, take a sack, because he's also sacked the most because he held on the ball the most, not because of his line, but because of his play style at quarterback, which is not good at the NFL. Just like you saw Caleb Williams struggle last week running around when he just needs to stand in the pocket and deliver as an NFL player. You can get away with it in college. You can't in the NFL.
I think Russ is the right choice, but Fields is the more fun choice.
yeah.
I think I'd rather watch Fields, but that's probably not better for my team.
Let Russ cook.
I think he'll be great. Like, not like exceptional, but like he'll make good passes and he'll look good.
I agree. I think you guys will be good.
George Pickens is so good at football. Just give the guy the ball and we will win, like,
Yeah,
consistently.
I have him on my fantasy team. Please throw it to him.
And Najee's also good, and Warren will get the ball more.
He did okay. He didn't do great this week.
I mean, he got hit in the backfield. Steeler classic.
Yeah.
Last year he had like
Hey.
1,000 yards or something, and like 800 of them were after contact, which is insane.
Yeah.
He just gets hit immediately on every play.
Steelers defense, though.
Oh my God, T.J. Watt might be the best player in the world.
Alex Highsmith just looked almost as good.
No,
Yes.
he looked
Aiden
very
Hutchinson,
good.
though.
He's the second highest rated defensive player behind T.J. I think Fred was
That's what I'm
fourth. Fred Warner's so good.
No, I think the highest rated D lineman I saw.
It wasn't D lineman. It was just defense overall. It was T.J. Watt.
I saw it was. Actually, I don't remember. It was
T.J.
some
Watt had a
Rams player.
95, I think.
It was Jared Verse.
Yeah.
Jared Verse.
I mean,
He on the
T.J. Watt.
Rams?
They took away. There was 2 penalties that took away things, but they had nothing to do with the play. They were like away from play penalties. But T.J. Watt had 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and like 4 TFLs or something.
Yeah, but
like he played so good.
He only had one sack and
Yeah.
no forced fumble in the stat sheet. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, it is a lot easier to get a sack when the primary receiver got face masked.
When
Just generally.
I mean, I don't know, getting called offsides and the ref at halftime being like, "Hey, I made the wrong call. It shouldn't have been offsides." What does that have to do with TJ?
No, I agree on that one, but the other one is totally has to do with TJ. You're getting a strip sack off of holding in the secondary. Like there's such things as a coverage sack, and if you're
He gets off so fast. Anyways, TJ's that guy. That's all I want to be said.
but yeah, Kirk.
They're gonna steal his deep boy again this year.
Kirk was getting mauled by your D line.
Oh my God,
And he
Kirk
could not
looked horrible
move, bro.
because of the Steelers. I don't know if he is horrible, but we made him look horrible.
I think it's hard your first game back having to go against like such a bad matchup.
You
where
have like
just
no
got
connection with your
mauled,
players or
because
anything.
it's like you have no connection. You're still feeling out your
Drake London
your
looked,
movement.
like not great.
But he
either.
threw 2 picks and he had 1 dropped.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's hard because when you're getting pressured, you have no connection, and you're still testing out whether to move. It's gonna be really bad to play, and I think that he will bounce back. It is concerning what he showed, but I don't think it's the end of the world given his matchup.
Hey, and guess what? They have Michael Penix.
Yeah, he is
Real.
really good.
They have Michael Penix. On
I
the
saw
bench.
Joey Porter Jr. He was asked about Drake London. He's like, "You see that boy's stat sheet? I made him get nothing," and he's right. Drake London like literally didn't catch
got-
the ball
I think he
because
caught
Joey
one
Porter
ball.
Jr. was on him all game.
All right, let's stop with the Steelers propaganda.
You want to
Zach,
move to the Lions Rams?
Lions
do
Rams.
you have any game you want to talk about?
Lions Rams.
Okay.
That game was good.
Dude,
Um,
the Lions were unstoppable in overtime.
Yeah. Oh, it was just David Montgomery. Guy just ran over everyone.
Oh my God, he just gave.
It was so cool.
It was beautiful to watch.
Jameer Gibbs.
Jimmy Gibbs did get a bunch of carries.
Yeah.
They had the same carries, but
Dude,
Montgomery had like 10 more yards.
Cup
or
for
something.
21 targets. Are you kidding me?
insane.
That's so many.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
I mean, that's what happens. when
Stafford
Nakua
looked.
goes
Stafford
out.
looked
We're
really
back
good.
to Pete
Stafford
Cup
looked
without
really good.
Puka.
Stafford is really good.
Stafford's really good at football. He always has
yeah.
been.
Yeah, I know.
Stafford. Yeah.
Last
Stafford
year,
was
at the beginning of the year, I was hearing people say like the Rams were gonna get like 2-3 wins, and I just never fully understood it. I know they
He
had.
was hurt though. Last
I know
year.
they had 2 amazing
he
rookies
was
come
hurt
that
last year.
like changed that team around with Kyron and Puka.
Kyron,
But-
second year last year.
But like they were new people that hadn't played any football, like any
Yeah.
on the team at all. But like people said they were gonna be bad, and I like never understood it. And then they were like pretty good. They almost, I mean, they played you in the playoffs. That game was close,
Puka
right?
getting hurt is bad though.
It
It's
is.
not good for them. As
And
long
I-
as Cooper Kupp stays healthy, they should
Yeah,
be okay.
I think Cooper
but-
Cup does well, and I think honestly Stafford can throw to anyone.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
I think Stafford is good. I mean, he cooked with the Lions when they sucked. He cooked with the
Mm-hmm.
he cooked with the Rams last year with the new receiver Puka, who turned out to be really good, but we didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I think Stafford just finds ways to get the ball around. I think having his guy in Cup, he'll be fine with anyone. Having the run game with Kyron.
Yeah.
I went to a game in LA last year and I watched him play, and that guy's just really good at
That-
football.
that
he looks
one throw-
smooth with how he plays.
That one throw where he was like getting sacked and like just threw it blindly.
Yeah.
That was crazy for a first. That
Pretty
was
tough.
that was actually insane.
Okay, so
Week 2.
do we want to move on to next week's game? What are we thinking? Who's winning tonight?
What's the game tonight?
Bills
It's
Dolphins.
Bills Dolphins. I think
Dude,
if
the Bills
AK's
did not look good last week. They almost
were-
lost to the Cardinals. There was a game-winning
Cardinals
pass
are
at the end that
good.
they
But
missed.
the
Are
Dolphins,
they?
The Dolphins.
I think
the
Cardinals are gonna be
Cardinals are
good.
fine, but I think they're like
Dolphins lost, right?
They're league average.
No, they won. They were
beat-
down by
they-
like 17 against the Jaguars and came back.
Yeah, they beat them 17-14.
I just think like if Akane is healthy,
Wasn't it 17-21?
Maybe.
if Akane is healthy, like I think they have a good
Is he?
chance. It's just like actually game time. Like
I
no
saw
one knows what's
I
going
saw
on.
someone send a prop bet in of him getting a touchdown, so I think he's playing.
No,
They
it's,
said-
it's yeah, I think it's like up for debate whether
I think
Okay.
I think it's like
he's
actually game
questionable.
time.
Yeah, it's like a game time decision.
But the way they use him, they don't ever use him to like run, I guess.
He got a lot of carries last.
But
game.
they use their running backs as like just a like fast receiver in the backfield.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the Dolphin system's interesting. I think it like works really good because of how much speed they have. It's so hard to guard.
It'd be better if they had a quarterback that didn't underthrow everyone.
I mean, he doesn't a lot of the
Tua,
time.
Tua's a good distributor of the ball.
The
You're
first
just
the first
hitting
6 weeks of the
internet
season,
talking
Tua's
points.
in MVP talks every year.
Yeah, I think
He
the
just does what
Dolphins
Jalen-
also struggled though. But personally, I think Tyreek Hill's going off,
Tyreek Hill's so good at football. It's
especially
crazy.
with the Bills. The Bills' losses in their secondary. I mean, I know they.
But Josh Allen just by
To
himself.
hop it back to
is just-
last week real quick. Tyree getting
crazy.
arrested before the game is insane.
That's crazy.
yeah.
Did
That
you
was-
watch the video of him getting arrested?
Didn't just Sean Watson
I
get
mean, the
arrested too?
cops should
Or am I
get fired.
tripping?
I mean, it's both their fault. He definitely instigated, but
He was told to roll his window down, did, and then rolled it back up, and then got mad they were banging on his window. That's insane. But then
Yeah.
the cop has no need to jump on a professional
I
athlete
saw him like,
Yeah.
that.
No,
kick
or
the
anyone.
cop has no need to
But there's
jump
no
on
need to
anyone.
do that to anyone at any point.
Yeah.
It's all around.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the wrong.
No, the cop's very much more in the wrong, and I think he got placed on like leave. So
Yeah.
and Tyreek's calling for him to get fired. But after that, going for 130, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. Going for 130 after being arrested,
Low key, half of them were on like one play.
that's the Tyreek way.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
just
the Tyreek way.
Tyreek could be having a bad day and just catch one pass.
And Tyreek is so good.
He is
And
really.
He's
really
just
good.
J-Mo.
I
I'm at-
don't
I'm
think
at-
he's the best player in the league, though. I thought that was insane when I
think
saw he
he's-
was
I
one.
mean,
He's really good, but he's not one, man.
I think they just like to mix it up, and they chose the best. I mean, actually, because you could say McCaffrey's the best offensive player, but I think besides
I think it's Mahomes, McCaffrey, Trent Williams.
I think
over him.
Mahomes is the
Yeah,
best player.
but I think, but they want to mix it up because saying Mahomes every year is so cliche. It's like obviously it's Mahomes.
I mean, it was Tom Brady
But-
like 10 times.
Yeah, but I think Tyreek's in
Jared
my
Goff.
opinion the best receiver in the league. He does the most with the least.
I think he was the best last year. I think Justin Jefferson's better, but obviously he was
Yeah.
hurt last year, so it's hard
Justin
to vote him
Jefferson
higher.
also doesn't
But I
have
mean,
QB
you got to
anymore.
realize that Tyreek Hill right now is the only player in NFL history to have back-to-back 1,700-yard years.
I
So,
heard
I
this
think-
conversation the other day, and as a Steeler fan, I'm biased, so I'd like to hear your take. But Tyreek is the best player in the last, or receiver in the last 10 years. I think Julio and Antonio are over him,
Tyreek?
but
I don't know. I think Antonio Brown's pretty good.
But if Tyreek Hill has another season like his last two, that's gonna put him at, probably the greatest three season peak out of any receiver ever. And what I'm asking is, does that put prime Tyreek over prime Julio and prime AB with that level of play?
I think the difference is Antonio Brown wasn't in the 1700s, but he was in the 1600s, which isn't that much of a difference. So when you're looking at it, but he did it for an 8-season stretch. He was in the 14s to 1600s.
I think
So that's not super different than
I
1700s.
saw a graphic the other day though where the most 1,600 receiving yard seasons any player has ever had is two. So if Tyreek's had two and he gets a third,
Yeah.
that would put him most all
That's
time.
big.
Now the other thing is Justin Jefferson has had 2 in 3 years.
Yeah, that's why he gets all the talk he does.
Yeah. So I think that Justin Jefferson is on pace to be better than all of them. But I think Tyreek's peak
Justin
right now
Jefferson
could be better
can't
than
do
most.
anything if he doesn't have a quarterback.
George Pickens.
Justin Jefferson is quarterback proof.
Let me quote Ryan Clark right here.
Yeah,
He
but
had-
it does
he had
help
a
to
thou-
have a quarterback.
Yeah, he had 1,000 yards in 9 games last year with Kirk Cousins, Nick Mullins, and
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah,
at
that's true.
quarterback.
To quote Ryan Clark, an NFL analyst, George Pickens is more talented than Justin Jefferson. Real quote.
You know who's
Yeah,
talented?
but
The
he's
J-Mo.
Insane.
He is talented.
J-Mo's breaking out this year.
That is a Steeler legend, so it makes sense.
Ricky
Okay.
Pearsall is better than all.
He
of
got
them.
shot. Let's go to week 2.
Shot.
Let's go to week 2 though,
Why are we making fun of that?
because the guy got shot.
You just like threw it in there like it was important to the conversation.
No, because you guys were naming random players.
Random play, like the most talented players in the league.
And I brought in my team's good young player.
I mean, Ayuk's up there. Ayuk's crazy.
Ricky
good.
well, yeah.
Pearsall, Jawan Jennings.
I think Ayuk turns it
Yes,
around
sir.
this week and drops good points.
Oh, I think so too. I think last year he
It's
he
a
was not
short
ready.
week. Actually, I guess a short week could help because there's like a lack of game plans. They just kind of go to their stars. But I think giving him some time, especially in the back half, he'll go back to his form. of
And also,
being
he didn't get a
the
lot of
alpha.
snaps. I mean, he got like 50%.
Yeah.
But like he's probably used to getting more.
And I gotta say this at least once a week. I think it looks so easy for Purdy because it just is so easy. I watched a play where I counted 7 seconds he was in the pocket and he didn't move an inch. His foot was standing in the same plot he started, and he threw a 25-yard pass. And I'm like, I just believe any quarterback in the league could do that.
But have you I'm sorry, but you just.
I think he's getting better than he was for sure, but I just don't. I think there's so many he is
Jared
put
Goff on
above
that
all
team.
these players
Super Bowl.
that I don't believe he's better than.
You are just blinded by bias and hate. Like the fact that you would say Kenny Pickett is better than Brock Purdy.
You are
Kenny
blinded.
Pickett.
There's a reason he was drafted before him.
Kenny Pickett cannot do what Brock Purdy does. There was never.
If he was in the
Pickett-
system, I do believe so, but that's
See,
that's a bad take for me.
Kenny Pickett is terrible. Justin Fields would not do what Brock Purdy does. He does not deliver the ball on time. He does not.
I don't believe Justin Fields' way he plays football fits the Niners system, which is a different argument than if he's better or not. But I just believe if you gave any player that could like throw the ball accurately and put them in the Niners system, I believe they would thrive. I think there's a reason Jimmy Garoppolo went to the Super Bowl and then had multiple NFC championships.
What you don't understand is Brock Purdy has done much better than Jimmy Garoppolo ever did.
He's on the same track
He's
at the
done
moment.
Much better than Trey Lance ever did.
That's because Trey Lance played 3 games.
CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins, Brock Purdy.
CJ
was
Beathard.
Those are the guys
Outta
that
here.
played. Those are just your average NFL. Actually, they're not very good, but those are your average NFL quarterbacks. And yet Brock Purdy's doing much better than them because he's a
I would say
baller.
Purdy's
Last
above
year,
average now.
if the places were switched and Garoppolo stayed and Purdy was sent to the Raiders, I don't believe he puts up much better numbers than Garoppolo did.
Oh, okay. I think
Because I
no.
think he's better than Garoppolo, but I think they're almost the same guy in a way.
Did you watch his throws to Garoppolo's throws to Devontae
Yeah,
Adams?
Devontae was like, I'm going to die playing for this guy. He's going to kill me.
Yeah, exactly. And
Devontae.
Purdy would do much better than that because Purdy throws accurately, on time. He's good under play action.
He's late a lot. The guys are just so open. It's crazy how open the Niners system gets people. We can move on from this any point, but I will be bringing this up weekly.
Let's go week 2.
Week 2. Steelers are playing the Broncos. They didn't look great. Bo Nix doesn't look as good as he did in preseason. He had a couple cool plays, but I don't think he's fully there yet. I think it's going to take longer.
I mean, he had 3 yards per attempt. That is like
he had that one really
efficiency.
cool looking rushing touchdown.
It was really cool.
It was really
that's
cool.
why I
Hey, no
picked
one
him up on
doubts. No one
fantasy.
doubts that he's a rusher, bro. Everyone knows he's a rusher.
He looked like Tim Tebow.
Yeah, I mean, I just 3 yards per attempt is terrible, but
Yeah,
I think
not
he'll
good.
bounce back. It's just some first week,
I think he's going to look bad this week because the Steelers defense is crazy. I think TJ Watt's going to use
but
lunch.
he's a good runner. He's gonna evade T.J. Watt.
And we'll have big boy Cam Hayward come get him.
He's gonna evade T.J. Watt.
45-year-old Cam
throw it up to
Hayward.
Cortland
We just gave him a
Sutton,
bunch of money.
And he's just gonna
He's
moss
so good.
Minka Fitzpatrick.
I think we're gonna do another tip drill for Ayuk. What happened to the Lions? That was awful.
I hate that play.
That
one made me so upset.
Made me so mad.
And then
I
he
actually
talked
turned
about-
off the TV.
Then he
I
talked
saw that
about
happen. I
like
was
the butterfly touching him earlier, so you knew he was lucky, and I'm like,
Lions Bucks though.
who'd you say the
Rematch.
Niners play?
Vikings.
I think that's an easy win.
I think we killed
But
Yeah, I think you guys kill the Vikings.
I said the exact same thing last year, and you lost to him.
Dude, I was just in Minnesota, bro. I wanted to watch a Vikings game.
You're right.
And it was with one of the backups. It wasn't their starter at the point, right? It wasn't Kirk.
I think was that
Was it
last
good?
year or was it?
It was
2
last
years
year.
ago?
It was last year. I was talking with someone who faced their first ever bet of money, like on a Niners game, and it was that game, and they lost.
Yeah. It might. Yeah, I forget. It might have been Mullins.
It's probably
I
Mullins.
think it might have been Mullins.
Mullins like had a couple
No,
of good
but it couldn't
games.
have been Mullins because it would have been sucked because Mullins was an old Niners quarterback. So I feel
Yeah,
like I
they would have
remembered
talked about that.
Oh, they had
for
the
sure.
other guy. He was like a rookie, but he was like kind of bad.
I don't. I think.
Was it the Pastronaut age?
Oh, it might have been.
No, because I think it was earlier in the season. See, I don't know.
But you guys, I thought it was an easy game last year, and he lost to him. Does that bring any fear to you?
No, not at all.
You guys are so good.
Besides,
That's
like
crazy.
one, we're so good. One dumb loss. It's
I
bound
mean,
to happen.
the bad
but-
team or the bad team doesn't always lose, you know.
Yeah,
like-
but one bad loss isn't gonna kill the Niners. We're gonna be.
No, that's what I
We're
mean,
gonna
like-
be a top. We're gonna be a top seed. We're gonna
Yeah.
beat
Lose
the
to the
Lions in the
Lions.
playoffs probably. It's
That game last year was terrible. I hated that.
I don't know how the Niners made it to the Super Bowl. I thought they were losing both those games at
I thought-
halftime.
I was so
okay,
excited. I
but
was like,
the
we're going to
Packers
the
game
Super
was
Bowl.
close.
They were up
always.
though, and
Yeah.
Purdy hadn't had a single comeback in his entire career coming up to that game.
Yeah, but Purdy,
At no point in his career he had ever been down and won, which is crazy. When he had like an 18-3 record, it just means he never went down in like any
Yeah,
game.
because he only lost 3 games.
Yeah.
That's just insane. That's how good the Niners are. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then I think
And
But then they came back 2 games
in
a
both
row.
those games, I thought he was done in both those, and he won them.
What people forget about the IU catch though is it was PI anyways. That was going there no matter what. It just happened to be a cool catch and a touchdown.
I didn't see no flag.
I-
Did you see the flag? I didn't see the
I
flag.
didn't see no flag.
I didn't see the flag. Did
I
you see
mean,
the flag?
I saw the
I didn't see the
scoreboard
flag.
go yellow. I saw the flag fly in the air. but-
Propaganda.
I didn't see it.
I think things are being made up right now.
Honestly,
Who the Lions
you be
playing
eating
today?
dogs in Springfield, bro.
Making up stuff like Trump.
Okay.
Who the-
Lions play Bucks, like the rematch.
Ooh.
That was a good game last year in the playoffs, but I mean, I think we win that game. Honestly, I think. Oh, okay. I see, Mister.
Dude,
I mean,
I like the
controversial.
Bucks. I don't know who wins that though.
It was a close game in the playoffs.
I
think-
remember.
Yeah.
I remember I had to pick a score for this podcast last year at that time, and I was very conflicted on that game in particular.
I mean, I
Yeah,
think
I
Baker
don't
is a
know.
great quarterback. I mean, he had the best passing performance out of any quarterback.
Who did he play last week though?
The Commanders.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well like the Commanders.
Yeah, but he
Emmanuel
had-
Forbes,
he
like
was-
what?
he
I
was
could
one
throw a
of-
ball
he was
over
one of 2
Emmanuel Forbes,
quarterbacks
bro.
to throw for over 300 yards last week.
Yeah.
The other one was Matt Stafford on your defense. So like, thinking about it, I think
I think the Lions are
Matt
Baker
rated.
Stafford
Mayfield
is
will
a
be able
lot
to-
better than Baker.
I think the
Mayfield.
Lions
the
are
Bucks
rated
offense is
the
good.
worst defense
I-
against receivers.
I think our offense didn't play as good as it should have, and I think we'll figure it out. And I think our offense will be a lot better
Yeah,
next
but
week.
I think Baker Mayfield is going to put up probably 30 at least on your team.
the Bucks are like one of the most underrated teams because
Yeah.
they're good, but it's hard to like you don't.
We'll put up.
They're not going to
35.
beat any of the elite teams, but they like you expect them to beat everyone else. You know.
Yeah, they're like that solid team.
2
that, like,
Laporta touchdowns.
it's like
He
high.
did nothing last week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. He didn't do much, but I have faith. I think our offense is gonna play better.
We ready to wrap it up here, boys?
Yeah,
Wait, what about Steelers though? We got time.
Where are they playing the Broncos? We talked about Bo Nix.
yeah.
Bo Nix is so good.
Hey, thank you for tuning in to Third and Long. Next week we should hopefully have a 4th member, and I think that'll be all for us. See ya.